Hello, welcome to Designer on Call. It's already session number 7. So I created this platform to provide a service. The service is to answer any questions you have in regard to interior design. So that could be needing a little inspiration, what to do on a window treatment, where to purchase a very specific material, or whatever, or just a little bit of inspiration to get you started. My name is Kim DePaul, and I have been an interior designer in New York City for over 20 years. I've worked on both commercial and residential projects, and I decided to create this platform to be of service, to provide the inspiration, because I truly believe that everyone deserves a home that fully supports how they live, work, and restore. So how this works is you go to DePaulDesign.com and you just fill out the design question. You include some photos, which is always helpful for me. And every Monday at noon on Instagram, I answer your questions. So today, let's get started. So first, I have Rita asking me a question from Goshen, New York. I love the change of seasons. What can I do in my house to make it feel more cozy? So Rita, I could go on for about an hour about this subject. And in the fall, you put layers on because you're cold. It's actually pretty cold now because we have a season change already. So basically is to think about the experience of a layering process, right? The layering including what things have a scent, the texture, the scale, the color, and the overall feeling. Maybe it's a historic reference, or maybe it's just something that is an element that you love. So right away, I think at the entrance of your home, even if it's an apartment or wherever, is to set the tone of that seasonal change. So it could be as simple as a beautiful branch, a group of branches in a beautiful container. One little trick I like to share is I take tangerines and I get whole cloves and I just embed them in patterns on the tangerine. It's a lot less work than a big orange. So I'm a little lazy that way. And then I get a beautiful wooden bowl, set those in place, because the minute you come home, it just transforms the space with the scent of orange and cloves. So again, start when you first walk in the door at the entrance. And then also in terms of accessories, there's always pillows that are easy to just buy a cover. Instead of buying a whole new pillow, measure it and look around and see if there's a cover you can employ. Because I'm a bit obsessed with does it spark joy concept with Marie Kondo, and there's no reason to have 400 million pillows, which quite frankly, I did at one time. I've reduced the quantity. So there you go. And editing is possible. Don't fill it up too much. Just a few elements go a long way. The next question is from Barbara in Orlando. I just moved from New York to Florida. There's so much more natural light. I think, I don't know, Barbara, you should not be complaining about that. I live in New York and not always a lot of light. And I'm not sure how to handle controlling it, meaning window treatments. So Barbara, you didn't send me any photos or any kind of dimension, so I'll just give a general overview. Again, the word is layering, I think because I'm freezing here. Layering meaning, why not employ a shade and a drapery combination? My recommendation is to go as high in the space as possible, as close to the ceiling, to emphasize the ceiling height. If it's just like a standard 8-foot high ceiling, makes it feel more spacious to the floor. And then the roller shade controls the light. The other tip is it's called reverse roll, right? So when you look up, you don't see the roll, you see it over the roll. And I should probably include a diagram to explain this. So roller shade, very inexpensive, white or a color. Install reverse roll so you don't see that it is a roller shade. It sort of makes it look a little more elegant. And then drapery, love sheer white drapery. Nothing more sexy and gorgeous to elevate a room, especially a living room or bedroom. So, and those are so easy to find online, and those are ready-mades. You don't even need to do a custom workroom for any of that. One thing I do want to mention is about the bedroom, right? The difference between blackout and room darkening, I learned the hard way. Blackout shades eliminate every ounce of light. I had a project where I literally had to make it feel like King Tut's tomb because I had a blackout shade, still wasn't dark enough. So I literally had to design these fins around the window frame and then have the drapery to just get rid of all the light. So room darkening shades, when you order them, which are often Roman shades like what's behind me. This is a pleated Roman, not a flat Roman. And you put the lining on the back. But even when you do something like this, if somebody's really particular about light, even the little hole where the ring is will seep through if there's an issue for them about having a completely dark King Tut's tomb room. So I hope that helps and answers some of your questions. I'll always get at least 2 to 3 quotes. Always ask for the samples, and always look at the samples in the morning, evening, and at night to make sure the color is spot on. Next is Margot from Brooklyn. I have a very tight budget and need to create more storage in my studio apartment. I have lots and lots of books, and walls are impossible to hang anything. What do I do? Okay, Margot, so my advice to you is to buy tall bookcases, right? Usually they come in standard dimensions, generally 24, 30, 36 in increments of 6 inches. And what you can do is paint them the same color of the wall. That doesn't mean paint them white. If you're doing a focal point wall and it's blue, then you paint the bookcases blue so it just goes right into the wall. And then what I do is I add doors, because sometimes all of the spines of the books makes it look too busy. So it gives a little bit of it provides the same amount of storage, but it just softens the space a little bit. So all you have to do is get, the a panel, like the width of the cabinet, cut in half. Then you put European hinges, kitchen hinges, standard, not expensive. And then you can put 2 knobs at the top, and there you can go a little design crazy. You can do wonderful things like drill a hole and put a loop of leather. You could do something like a glass doorknob if it's a little more period, or pulls. And you just put a little magnetic catch at the top. And the proportion, maybe you have 3 shelves visible at the top and then the rest doors. So that proportion should match something else in the room, right? So that's the other tip, design tip, is when you go into a room, if you want to have a sense of feeling more spacious, you put the furniture below the line of the window, right? Depending on your ceiling height. If you have a more traditional aesthetic, generally the furniture can go a little bit above. There's high back chairs, that type of proportion. But I digress, Margot, because you asked me about books. So I think I have as many books as the New York Public Library, so I understand your challenge. Next, we have Henry from Long Island asks, I inherited a few of my aunt's rugs. They are small, around 2 by 4, 3 by 5, nothing large enough to cover the floor in my living room. What can I do with them? My style is eclectic. I do like ethnic, tribal look style. So I find all my inspiration for my design work in galleries and museums. So there's a beautiful painting. I'll put it on my feed on Instagram. Vermeer of a woman sleeping like this. It's gorgeous with a beautiful oriental rug in the foreground, and that was actually the style, I believe, then, is to utilize rugs for tabletops, and then you can have your objects on top of it in books, or obviously nothing that's going to be wet in any way, a lamp. It's a kind of more rich, darker aesthetic, I think. But that's another idea for you for the rugs. Next, I have Gustavo from New Rochelle. I've been collecting maps and enjoy looking at them. I think it's time to hang them up in my office. They are odd sizes and I don't want to frame them all. It's too big a project. What do I do? So I love maps as well. In fact, I just finished a project that has an incredible view of the Hudson River, and I am obsessed with finding her a map of the Hudson River that is around 10 feet long. So needless to say, I'm still looking. Maybe Gustavo can help me with that. Gustavo, do you have a map of the Hudson River? So Gustavo, what I would recommend is this, very simply. You can find these L-shaped nails. They literally look just like that. And what you do is you have pieces of plexi. Usually I go about 2 inches over the size of the image. Generally this is good on a white wall, not like a dark colored wall. So it has a light gallery kind of look. This is actually how I would install a lot of pieces in a nonprofit gallery that I installed an exhibition for 7 years every month. So I have a lot of experience with that. So basically you just size up the plexi in proportion to your pieces. You could figure out from like a 4x8 sheet so you can get the most cost-effective quantity out of the sheet. You get it cut, and then what you do is you place it on the wall with the L nails in the 4 corners, very gingerly. Another tip for hanging the artwork, for figuring it out, is to take a painter's drop cloth in paper. They are available in white. It's always better if it's white. And then I lay out all of my artwork on the paper, so I have my diagram of what it'll look like, and then I literally just hang it on the wall, and I'll put 4 marks for the edges so I can see it, and then I just follow the pattern. So that's a wonderful way to compose the artwork on the wall. So I hope that is helpful for you. The other little tip I'm going to share with you is this style quiz. Hello, style quiz. It's actually the first step in creating your ideal space. It's not about what I love, it's about what you love, what brings you joy. And where do we begin? We begin with selecting a piece of artwork that you prefer. And there is a whole series that follows with some guidance on how to create that look in your space. So I look forward to being of service, and I look forward to seeing you again next week on my Instagram feed live at noon, Monday. So send your questions. I can't wait to answer them all. And remember, you gotta love your home. You got to.